My husband says that I should tell you the roast recipe. He wants this. He thinks that if he magically plays with this, treats appear back in it. Let's get the offending box out of the way. Anyway, the first thing you need to do is you need to get the roast. That's the absolute most important thing. I find the roast that has a round ribeye primal about the size of my outstretched hand. So this is the round part of the meat. And if my hand covers the meat part of it, then that's a good one. And the reason that I get a 3-bone roast is because they fit perfectly in this box. And I put a 1/4 sheet baking rack in the bottom of the box. And then I put the roast on top of it. But before I do that, I liberally salt the roast everywhere. Top, bottom, round, sides, everything. And then once that's done, I will put it on the rack in the plastic box, and I will put pepper and rosemary on the fat cap on top. But the pepper and rosemary only goes on the fat cap on top. And then I put the other half of the box on top of it, and I clip it shut with binder clips. But this box has been perforated. There's been a bunch of holes knocked in it. And then stick it in the refrigerator and ignore it until Christmas Day. The roast went in the refrigerator December 9th. It will come out December 25th. And it's just going to sit there, being a happy little roast, just marinating away in that salt and that rosemary and pepper. On Christmas Day, I will pull it out first thing in the morning, and I will let it warm up to room temperature. For those of you going, oh, bacteria, that thing is covered in salt. Any self-respecting bacteria will look at that and go, oh, no, I can't do salt like that. No. And it's only going to be out for maybe 4 hours before it goes into the oven. And it's going to be cooked on the outside thoroughly. Once it's up to temperature, slather that roast liberally in a high temperature oil. I use avocado. I slather it liberally and I put more salt on it. And that's when I add more rosemary all over and whatever other spices that I want to put on it. And this year, I don't know, it's probably going to be rosemary and Aleppo pepper and thyme and I don't know. It depends on what mood I'm in when I get to my spice drawer and I've got my roast in front of me. There's not really a set number of spices, but it's always rosemary. It's always pepper. I almost always use Aleppo pepper on it. And it's just to flavor the crust. The spices that you put on top of it are really only going to spice the fat cap. So here is my roast analog. But you just sit there and figure out where you have to put the thermometer for it to be in the dead center of the roast and stick it in. Put the oven on 300, 325 and let it cook until the roast hits 125 degrees. So I just let the roast come to temperature with the meat thermometer in it. When it reaches temperature, I pull the whole roast out and I set it on the counter and I put a tent of aluminum foil on top of it. I'm being upstaged by a cat. I cook all the sides. Raise your oven to a screaming hot oven. And once you've got a nice, crackly, bubbly, beautiful, lovely, unctuous, fat, lovely cap on it, pull it out. You don't need to let it rest at this point because it's already rested for the entire time that the sides were cooking. And then you can cut it off the bone and cut it into steaks and serve it. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. To this date, I have made 8 Yorkshire puddings and the trash can has eaten 8 of them. Last year, I was bound and determined that I was going to make his recipe exactly the way he said it was supposed to be made. Last year, I followed his recipe exactly the way it was written out. And I threw it in the oven and it was cooking. It was looking beautiful. And I looked down on the counter and I saw my little thing of salt sitting there going, hi, you forgot to put me in. So Yorkshire pudding number 8 went into the trash again. I will try again this year to make Yorkshire pudding. We will see if Yorkshire pudding number 9 is the winner that gets eaten or if Yorkshire pudding number 9 also gets fed to Trashy. But anyway, that's how I make the holiday roast. And I've decided that my Christmas Day video is going to be a cooking video of putting the roast together, getting everything done, and getting it out, and letting you see exactly what goes on for the Christmas roast. Vlogmas Day 10, I will see you tomorrow.